morning, everyone. Jubilant Tamil Nadu, jubilant Coimbatore. Thank you very much, Satish ji, for inviting me. You heard a lot of talks since morning. Amazing. Of course, with my favorite ThyroCare founder, and then about social entrepreneurship and the branding. Hopefully, you'll find what I'm going to talk about. Yes, as a tech talk, how AI can change and how AI can be used for making good for everyone, but also as an example of how we have tried to use all or most of the advice we got in the last 3 talks and then try to implement in a small startup. Yes, we are based in Bangalore. It is called Niramai, where we have developed this new method of detecting breast cancer. First, AI, right? I'm sure everyone has heard about it. Artificial intelligence. All of us have used it. The Ola, Uber, Rapido, the e-commerce, Amazon, all of the good stuff. And like Sir said, technology is the most important piece that you have to include in your startups or manufacturing or whichever area you're taking it up, because that is what gives you scale, right? And growth and profitability, all of that. When artificial intelligence is used for changing the outcome for health, making people healthier, definitely we are doing good to the society. There are different things that AI can help, or the potential benefits are in different ways it can help. First and foremost, to reduce the cost of care. That is when healthcare will become completely universal, available to the urban ecosystem, rural ecosystem, everyone who can, because everybody needs healthy living, right? That's the first and foremost thing that everyone needs. There's several other things that we can do. But overall, when you look at AI application in healthcare, we can divide them into 2 main categories. How AI can help in operational efficiency improvements, that is making patient experience better, connecting the patient to the right doctor, etc. And second, how can it help in clinical decision making? And the clinical decision making piece is actually much more challenging because it requires extreme accuracy. You can't have too many people called out as cancer when they don't have, and you can't call out the other way around when unnecessarily call somebody as having cancer when she doesn't, then she'll be thinking about it all the time. And it kind of affects the psychological well-being of the person. So really, AI has to be super accurate, like walking on a thin rope or something. So that's accuracy limitation. There are limitations of data in different way. Some of you who've done AI will know that we actually have a training set, we do the training, and the trained model goes, and then you use it for the testing or actual interpretation, actual prediction, sorry. So in this case, the number of people who are healthy is much, much more than number of people who are not. So that kind of creates a lot of imbalance. It's good for the society, of course, but it is not good for a model builder, AI model builder, because you have to take care of this imbalance in data while building and so on and so forth. So expecting the high accuracy and a challenging training is a big, big issue. So just to get to a more specific one, and a place where most benefit and most use cases have been talked about around the world when we're looking at clinical decision support is in radiology. Radiology is about taking these medical images like X-rays, MRI, CT, ultrasound, etc. And of course, you all know that radiologists interpret that with visual analysis, and they are human, so there can be errors. So first and foremost, AI can be helpful in reducing these errors quite a bit. And several other better things that can be done is about, of course, there are so many people who are well, as we said, so we can use this AI-based technology to triage them, find out who among these people need to be taken to the best doctor, and then who can be treated with the junior doctor. Not to make it little, differentiation or whatever, but basically, most of the triaging can be very well done with AI. But the one which is most close to me is how AI can be used to bridge the healthcare divide that exists in countries like India, where we have the haves and the have-nots within a city as well, let's say in Coimbatore itself. And then we have the rural and the urban ecosystem, which clearly came out during our COVID fight. And of course, we have the developing world and the developed world around the globe. See, in all of these cases, of course, AI can be used inside hospitals and diagnostic center to improve the productivity and all the good stuff we talked about. But it can also be used as tools to healthcare workers to make them more smarter than what they are trained and skilled for. And now, if this AI can make an automated decision along with the human who happens to be a healthcare worker to identify who among these 100 people are likely to have, let's say, a disease like cancer. I think you talked about it in the panel a bit, but if we can identify these high-risk people and bring them to the hospital at the right time, then you can save one and many, many more lives as well. So instead of talking very, very general, let me just talk about my experience of doing this using AI and trying to detect one of the largest cancers in women, which is breast cancer. I'm basically a computer scientist, PhD in AI and so on, from Indian Institute of Science. I was head of AI for Xerox Research. I was a principal scientist at HP, all good. But when I lost two of my cousin sisters to breast cancer, they were just 38 and 42 years, that's when I decided to quit my job and start this. Sir talked about passion. Definitely, I think it's very, very important ingredient for any entrepreneurship to be at least reasonably successful. I won't say successful yet, but we are 8 years into it. Survived the COVID as well. I think we are considered reasonably successful. Coming specifically to the problem itself, 684,000 women died last year just because of this disease. In India, 250 people every day die because of this disease. The good part is, it is completely curable. Nobody needs to die of breast cancer. But still, we lose every alternate lady detected with breast cancer within 2 to 5 years. 50% mortality. In fact, if you look at specific statistics, every 3 minutes, somebody is getting detected with breast cancer, and every 6 minutes, one person is dying. In India alone. How can we reduce this? How can you save them? By just enabling early detection, screening, not waiting for symptoms. Like, that's what happens today. People think unless there is a lump, there's no need to go to the doctor. And a person feels the lump only when it is 2 centimeters or 2.5 centimeters, which is stage 2 or stage 3 or 4 as well. Stage 4, 10% survival possibility for 2 years. So it is important to have screening methods which proactively do the screening on women who are seemingly looking normal. However, in India particularly, there is no great screening program because, of course, affordability is an issue. How can you take a mammographic machine which is about 80 lakh or more, and then have a trained person to do the screening, have a person to interpret, and take this and do this in every village? Just sheer cost and skill needed makes it really, really problematic. Furthermore, because people have to remove clothes, exposed to radiation, etc., it is a big issue in terms of women wanting to do this again and again. They'll do it once and again, yeah, I did it 3 years ago, there's no need to do again. And worst case is that mammogram is only applicable above 45 years, and we have 30% of cancer deaths in breast cancer happening under 45. And even above 45, it doesn't work on 50% of them. It is good, it is the only available test today. There's nothing wrong with it, but it is not sufficient. Hence, 96% of people are detecting their cancer by hand after a lump is automatically felt. So we wanted to solve this problem, and then we have come up with, after a lot of research, this new method of detecting breast cancer, which is automated using AI. It is no radiation at all because we just measure the temperature variations on the chest using a thermal sensor or infrared imaging device, which looks just like one of these cameras you see here. It's kept 3 feet from the person, measure the temperature variations on the chest, and convert the temperature map to a cancer health report completely automatically. We measure about 4 lakh temperature points per person, and the machine learning algorithms convert that into a full-fledged 3-page patient report with scores indicating the level of abnormality. Areas of appropriate or abnormal activities are marked, and then as needed, it goes to the radiologist for certification before handing it over. The best part is the equipment is 10% of the cost of the existing method, less than that. It is extremely portable. What you're seeing is actually photo of the device, which is just kept on a tripod. I can take it out, put it in my backpack, and take it out and do the screening in every rural area or every village as well. And the main thing that is differentiating and making this solution possible is AI. Because use of thermal cameras for using or detecting breast cancer is not my idea. It was around for almost 20 years, but it was not sufficiently accurate enough to interpret it with bare eyes so far. By adding AI into it, and of course, a lot of sweat in trying to collect the right kind of data with the right kind of labels, etc., and identifying what kind of AI algorithms need to be developed for this, what kind of patterns are actually abnormal, etc. Finally, we do have this new method of detecting breast cancer. Last but the best part is the experience of doing the test itself. We just have a booth-like thing, just 4 curtains. The lady enters, it's like a changing room. She closes all doors and curtains and then removes her clothes. No one sees her or touches her during the test. She just sits in front of the device for about 5 to 10 minutes. She comes out, her report will be ready. The technician is outside giving her instructions to turn left, right. Thank you, thank you. So this is the wonderful experience that every lady loves. No see, no touch, no pain, no radiation. And yes, it is accurate. I'll talk about it. So the basic thing is the AI-based analysis. The center image, what you're seeing, is the image you get when you do a thermal scanner, just like any of these infrared imaging devices. But that has a lot of red, orange, etc. I've taken a very high-risk patient, or rather proven cancer. That's why you're able to see at least some white thing there. That is converted into a contrast-enhanced image, so the doctor can quickly see how it looks, and then the marking in the blue color says that's where the cancer is likely to be. So now you can do an ultrasound or a biopsy at that area, do all the wonderful diagnostic facilities available in the hospital, and definitely take care of her. This would not have been possible without, of course, AI, but the novelty behind it. And I think the title of this topic is Innovation and Impact, right? We have 36 granted patents in just the AI algorithms which convert the temperature map to a cancer health report. I'll talk a little bit more about it later. There are several AI algorithms that go in. I don't intend to explain this block diagram, but broadly, when we are trying to develop something for scale, something that we can take this and give it to health workers in rural areas to do this screening, ASHA workers, simple people who may not even know full English, just small mobile and then clicking a few buttons on the app, they make mistakes. So your solution has to be rugged enough to the skill level of the users that you're targeting. So the first set of boxes is basically making sure that they follow the protocol, they ensure that they have the right kind of images are taken, etc. Next set is about to expand or extract 117 different abnormalities which are explainable. Some of you working in AI will know, when you show it to a doctor and say, hey, this girl is likely to have cancer and can we take care, they can't do anything concrete. They want to know where is the problem, why are you saying there's a problem? And we say it is because of vascular asymmetry, it's because of high thermal activity or high cell division that's happening. You have to give an explanation of this. Until then, first, doctors won't be convinced. Second, they will not do the next level analysis. So different scores indicate different levels of explainability. As I mentioned, yes, it had to be very innovative, and we wanted to show that a Make in India product can actually go to several parts and can be shown as innovative method. So yes, we have 36 granted patents, 14 in India and 13 US and other places as well. A lot of innovation has gone in. Like for example, if it's a very deep tumor, it's no signature on the skin, so we had to develop vascular net determination, vascularity detection, which is another set of novelty. And those people who are interested, I'm happy to explain more about this. But all this makes it extremely accurate. And I'm happy to share that we have not missed any cancer found by either a mammogram or an ultrasound, especially in screening population, highest level of sensitivity. But the false positives may be there. If I say somebody is positive, we're just saying she needs to go to the hospital, she's likely to have something going wrong there. Whereas we won't leave anyone. When we say no, there's nothing. That's the screening or pre-screening that is needed, and it can be done in very, very detailed remote villages as well. And it's not sufficient to just for me to do this lab test. Those of you who are using AI, you are especially in healthcare, you will know that rigorous amount of clinical testing is needed in an independent fashion, prospective setting and all of that. So it's resulted in 50 plus publications, including a Nature publication that got in earlier this month. Of course, you need regulatory clearances, CE mark, Indian CDSCO, etc. All that was also done. So far, after developing the product and proving its accuracy, everything, we now have reached 250,000 women, which is, thank you, and actually detected so many cancers that never knew it was there. It's available in hospitals, diagnostic centers, as well as many, many rural areas. We do as camps, either in a bus or simply put it in a backpack, go in an auto and do it. And we also do a lot of corporate camps, so that, you can take the test to the lady in the office. She just has to spend 10 to 15 minutes of her time. So if the horse doesn't come to the water, take the water there. That's when you can make a difference, right? And not only that, thanks to some of the word of mouth kind of branding, we got covered in BBC News, Forbes, ZTV, or NDTV, all of that. And because of that, many people heard about us, and incoming leads itself has resulted in many installations, of course, in India, but also in 22 countries today. These are some of the hospitals, HCG, etc. In Tamil Nadu, we have in Kaveri Hospital, in Chennai, in Pennalam, and several others. Coimbatore, I want to come here. If anyone wants to partner, please let me know. A lot of rural camps have been done. Even Tata Memorial Hospital director, basically, we have a van where we have actually put in this as well. And we've done several field studies to show that we can actually do it in rural areas. In Punjab, we've done about 15,000 women, proven and published as well. The best part is it can either be installed in a hospital, in a district hospital, taluka hospital, or take the same test and move it around 10 different PHCs nearby. Because it may not be really worth it to put it in every primary healthcare center, but you can actually move it as well. And so the portability really makes it hugely different. While a Make in India product has now reached 22 countries, the development, the clinical, regulatory, all inclusive in just 8 years, we think we can actually reach every lady on earth. And any partnerships, again, would be very, very helpful. Like Sir said, focus is very important. So far, we focused on breast screening because that is the top cancer, and we don't have anything to save lives. Every day, if everyone is using once every year, only once every year, every day we can save 250 lives in India alone. Not only that, with some of the funding research grants we received, we figured out that we can actually detect several other types of cancers. And hopefully, with partnership and collaboration, we'll be able to create a whole new way of detecting abnormalities in the body, right here from India. Thank you so much. It was excellent to share my story with you.